Graham, fucking producer Mel is on a shot clock. We're just sitting here having a conversation. She's like, boys, we're recording now.
Yeah.
Like you and I just held our breath till she hit the button. Problem was she kind of fucked up for a second. So we're just sitting there going,
That's what happens. That's what happens when you're on Boise time, man.
It'll do it to you, man. That dry air, but your balls are still wet. I'm just saying. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking never end. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Sam Houston? Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right, the fucking Gooner Graham. Snow of the Lord. But straight and short. Sam Graham. Sam Graham.
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL, a brief bias recap of the English Football League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me is Mr. Samuel Graham. How you doing, sir?
Doing very well, sir. How are you?
And as always, on the ones and twos, we have producer Mel. How are you?
I am good.
I'm glad to see you took a moment away from the big B cam.
Yeah. Well, he's just down here chilling.
Feeding him Malort and ciders and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, well, how do you keep him calm during the show? That is the answer.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you find your podcasts. And of course, stream us every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It is at DU Football Show on all the social medias, dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
Very good.
So I'm trying something. Maybe having Big B on camera will fool the algorithm because everyone loves dogs.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
So I'm going to try it and see if we can get some views.
He's a handsome boy. That's for damn sure. We are drinking the exact same shit as we drank earlier, but doesn't help when he's looking away. But he is getting love, so he's happy. Mr. Graham, let's go ahead and get right into it. Championship corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh, no.
Mr.
Unless you're Lester.
This is for us when a tree falls in the forest and it doesn't make a sound. Does anybody hear? No, because you can just, pull up the sound and hit the button again. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Graham. Leicester lose 3-1 to Coventry City after being up 1-0, but then going down to 10 men just before the end of the first half.
Yeah, that's always a tough situation when you get down to 10 men just before the half. Obviously, I guess tactically, ideally, that's the point to do it because you can just get to halftime, get inside, talk about it. What are we going to do? How are we going to work this out? They obviously didn't do that to great effect because Coventry then turned on the heat and stormed out of there with a 3-1 win. So, Leicester has such a large point lead. I don't think it really matters, to be honest, at this point.
It's funny. It doesn't hurt Leicester, but it helped Coventry because they still have a massive point lead, despite the fact that Ipswich, Southampton, Leeds, and West Ham all won. The Baggies now sit 5 points ahead of sixth place Coventry, who is now the new team that is rotated in because 6th to 13th is literally separated by 3 fucking points.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to change week to week pretty much for the foreseeable future. But again, as you say, Leicester just aren't really fazed by it. They've been rolling this season, and I think they'll be fine and comfortably champions of the championship.
Oh, they're pulling Burnley like Burnley did last year. They've already got it. As Geckel said last week when we had him, or as Mel Geck, as she was talking about last week, it's them and Ipswich are on the highest point total of any two teams in the history of the championship. And that's
right.
including what Burnley did last year. Like Burnley rolled the fucking league last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now
I think that's the earliest we've had. Last year was the earliest we've had a champion in the championship for, I don't know, a decade or so, maybe more.
Yeah.
I mean, they wrapped it up in what was it, like early April?
Mm-hmm.
It was done. You know.
Now, Huddersfield at the bottom of the table. Huddersfield drew Plymouth 1-1, and they now sit 4 points above Wednesday, who dropped with QPR and Rotherham.
Excuse me. The shame is when Sheffield United are relegated this season, we're still not going to have a Sheffield derby because I don't see how Wednesday recover from where they're at. They have not been playing well at all, and the fact that they're in the drop is going to suck further confidence out of that team the longer they stay in the relegation zone.
Particularly coupled with QPR as well.
I know QPR you'd hope could get out of it. They've done some kind of great social and political things as a club with Sir Les Ferdinand as their technical director and kind of resident football man. I don't know. I'd feel bad if they went down, but their owner's a bit of a wacko as well. Kind of like the Nottingham Forest owner, if you want a little bit of a comparison. From the last time they came up to the Premier League, he was a bit nutso, to say the least. So they're just in a bad spot, and you'd hope QPR could get out of it. They're a decent club, decent people, and going down to League One would really, really crush them.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about League One. Pompey have now lost 2 in a row. This is a we're happy and sad moment. They lost, we're sad, but they lost to the O's, so we're happy.
Yeah.
0 though at Fratton Park, which is not good.
That's a statement.
Pompey.
No, that's a statement from Leyton Orient. The Accrington of the South.
Well said.
Everyone in London's second club, Leyton Orient. It's a good win for them, obviously, away from home. Fratton Park is an intimidating place to go. It's not an easy place to go. So especially being
one of the hardest firms, like they're a top 10 firm in the country. Like Pompey is not an easy place to go to. We've been to Pompey. That's a tough fucking town, man. It's a tough fucking pet.
Oh, it's a port city, Sam.
Well, Graham, not even, I said we've been in that town. We've been in their supporters pub. That was a tough fucking room. We had our beer and we fucking left.
Well, we played a game of pool. We, show us a bit of respect, man. We had our time in that town. It was fine. They, it's a coastal town. It's in Europe is a bit different from here in this day and age. That that kind of sailor mentality, that kind of history is so deeply embedded in those people, where we only really had that for what, 150 years, 200 years. Excuse me. So it's hard to compete with. They've been doing that for a millennia there. Marseille, being in southern France, you think of great restaurants, great wine. There's some of the hardest people in the fucking world in Marseille. It's because they're a port city. It's you get transients, you get people that aren't supposed to be there, you get all sorts of stuff, and you got to defend yourself and defend your own, and that's how it goes. But on this day, Pompeians didn't do that.
No, absolutely not. The posh
and hold on, I didn't finish the joke yet. Leyton Orient came in there like Mount Vesuvius. They're obviously not called Pompeians, but that was going somewhere. Sam, don't interrupt the history joke when it's on the cards. All right.
Very good. Well done, sir. The Posh have moved back into second place after beating Charlton 2-1. Bolton are only 2 points back, but they now have 3 games in hand because their game was postponed this weekend as well.
So was our live recording. I reckon the same reason.
Yeah, exactly. At the
Especially
bottom,
where Bolton sit.
so at the bottom, Reading are still 3 points behind Exeter, but they do also have a game in hand because their game got postponed as well, Mr. Graham.
Yeah, I always think back to kind of what Arsene Wenger said, and it makes total, absolute fucking sense, right? Yes, you're still supposed to win that game, even though it's in hand, or what, whatever. You're supposed to, but until you get there, you may have a different squad because somebody gets hurt, or we sell somebody by the end of January. You know what I mean? Like there may be something that throws up kind of your plans for that particular game. So what Arsene Wenger always used to say was it's better to have the points on the table than it is to have the games in hand, right? And you think of somebody having 3 games in hand is like those games now, even if they may be on paper relative easy situations, you look at a situation now where those games are pressurized because now I got to make ground up. I'm not just keeping pace. They literally today sit at this point in the table and I'm here. If I don't win these games, I don't get back up there. Those games become pressurized now because of that. And I kind of, I see what he's saying.
But I also think points play into that as well, Sam, because Bolton are only 2 points behind with 3 games in hand. So get 2 draws out of those 3 games and you're level on points.
Yeah, but
for them, especially, I feel like there's that's not as bad of a thing.
I mean, that's probably true. But in League One, in the lower leagues especially, because they're 2014 leagues, those 3 games might not happen for 3 months.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the thing.
Or they all happen in a 3-week period because they're just like,
exactly.
You can fit it in on a Wednesday. Go.
Right. And so now all of a sudden you're Newcastle, right? You're playing with a paper thin squad in 4 competitions. You know what I mean? Like now you're in trouble. And it's like, I would rather have played those games when they were supposed to happen. I get why they had to cancel stuff. It makes sense, but it's just, like I said, Arsene Wenger brought up the point, and I kind of used to be of the mindset back in the day that like, that puts pressure on them. Like, Arsenal still have to play. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of leaning towards what he said now. Like you need those points on the board. You need to be able to not have these games be extra pressurized. That's all.
All right. So, Graham, we thought City and Newcastle was the game of the weekend. Wrong. So wrong. Because now we go to League 2 at Blundell Park as 19th place Grimsby drew 6th place Notts 5-5, and the Mariners of Grimsby went up on Notts 2-0 in the first 15 minutes.
Now, we thought that Aldershot getting knocked out of the FA Cup meant there were no more shots. But I think there were more shots in this game than there were in the Premier League all season so far.
Everybody!
It was just shot. And not only did they get shots, they all went in.
Now, here's the funny thing is they score 2 goals in the first 15 minutes, and then they only watch it disappear right at the end of the first half with 2 of the exact same goals. I mean, literally, Notts scored the same goal twice, and both of them were assists of Mr. Jody Jones from about 25 to 30 yards out, just loops it across. That one guy slides in and knocks into the net. Nice.
Yeah. And Jody Jones famously, was the guitarist for Kid Rock's band.
Might be a different.
That's at least what his name sounds like.
Maybe related. We're not sure. And then You come into the second half, Grimsby quickly gets the lead back, only to watch again Jones with another assist from the exact same place on the right flank, puts it into the 6 for another goal to make it 3-3.
I mean, just call him the bull god at this point, right? He is the bull god.
Yeah,
that's a Kid Rock song.
mm-hmm.
For people that don't know or don't remember, I think Jody, wasn't that the name of the little person that Kid Rock hung out with? Wasn't Jody his name?
I do not know.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Little Joe, I think.
Little Joe, not Jody.
But it was during, I think his full name was Jody though, but it was from the record that Ball with a Ball was on.
Mm-hmm.
Which also I Am the Bull God was on that record as well. That's where the joke comes from. I felt like it needed clarification because I don't think Kid Rock is much in the consciousness since the Bud Light can incident.
So Grimsby gets the lead again, only for another cross in his Scott Sterling-like moment from Jody fucking Jones, again from the right flank, from 25 to 30 yards out, puts another ball in for another fucking goal for Notts County. At some point, now, I'm sure the coach, the keeper, and the center backs are just going, he might put the ball in. He might put, perhaps, maybe we should double team him and not let him put another ball in the box.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say. Sam, you've played with me for many years. You know kind of my MO. At some point between the second and fourth same situation, attempted to break his leg or ankle twice.
Oh, that man should have been on the ground. Should have been on the ground.
You will no longer come into this space because you are afraid for your life.
You have been on the pitch with me where I get beat on the back post a bunch, and I just look at you guys and go, at some point, would you all like to cover the guy on the back post? Just, would you like to? It's not that hard. Please. Yeah. Cover him one time. He can score 3 more goals, but if you stop him once, I'll be proud of you.
At some point, you just got to hit him. Just take him out once. Just let him know you're there. Just make him think about making that run again. And they just didn't. Just fucking didn't.
Now,
this is what happened.
Here's where it gets crazier, Graham. In the 91st minute, Grimsby been up multiple times, rolling along. Notts County takes the lead. Shockingly, not off a Jody Jones assist. And they go up 5-4.
Did they have a huddle? I didn't notice that in the highlight package. Did they say, hey, listen, 4 times are probably going to recognize it now.
Let's have somebody
maybe
else this time.
Maybe we should go down the left this time.
Well, that goal came from the left, actually.
Exactly right. I think you didn't believe me that I watched the highlights, so I wanted to throw that in just to make sure you knew I actually did.
Now, right at the death of the 93rd minute, they bring Grimsby brings on Harry Wood in his first appearance for the.
Now, time out. Stop. Don't finish the sentence. We have to analyze this. His name is Harry Wood.
Yeah, Harry Wood. Harry Wood. Oh,
wait.
What is he fucking 19?
And he doesn't go by Harold.
And wait for what he does later in his celebration. It fits his name very well.
1970s porn scores a goal is what happened.
Harry Wood at the death from about 20 yards out puts a brilliant curved little shot, sneaks into the fucking post, scores his first English Football League goal ever, runs to the sideline, trips, improvises, starts doing the worm because Harry Wood, of course, would do the worm.
There's a lot to unpack here.
All right, Villa, sign this player.
There's a lot to unpack
Needs
here.
more wood.
I need to know, did the shot curve a little to the left or a little to the right?
A little to the left. Little to the left.
Did it start low and rise? Was he a grower, not a shower? Or was it always high, just went right in the top corner?
It was a grower, not a shower, baby.
But he hit the target without any assistance, right?
The way it curved.
Mel, Matt Tardy plays for Newcastle now. That joke doesn't work anymore.
Hey. Actually, that curve, it curved to the right spot. Ladies will know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And then he did the worm. It was just because he was running in emphatic celebration and definitely tripped over his own 2 feet, fell on the ground, much like the TikTok video where they like fall on the ground, and they stand up and start like pumping their butt in the air. He totally fell on the ground and just went, fuck it, I'll do the worm. It just started.
You know what? That is my life philosophy. When in doubt, make it a bit.
Well, you have to. You absolutely have to, right? The good thing is he had the forethought at some point in his Harry Wood life. He had the forethought to learn the worm in case this situation ever arose. Because if that's not in your repertoire, you could look like a very weird spastic fish.
On the ground, do the worm.
If you grow up with the name Harry Wood, you got to be funny. You have to have a sense of humor. How do you think that kid avoided being?
You're getting your ass kicked. Yeah,
he
exactly
learned the worm in the 2nd grade because it made everybody laugh, and then he was good at football.
Sincerely, Graham, watching these highlights was better than the 5 games we covered on the main show this week.
I mean, pretty much.
Like so fucking brilliant.
The only thing I disagreed with you on was City Newcastle, because all 5 goals were so good, were of such quality. I mean, the Bernardo Silva flick, right? Both Newcastle goals were good. Oscar Bob was fantastic. Kevin De Bruyne, again, perfect placement. I think Dubravka could have done better, but like this goal, none of these goals were shit.
No, all 10 were good.
Like it was like the rest of the Premier League was shit.
Yeah,
except that fixture, because all 5 goals were so good. This game, all 10 goals were so good. They doubled up City and Newcastle. It was fantastic. And have a man named Harry Wood. You can't beat that.
Doing the worm. And again, this is what is the difference between, the top flight and League Two, the 4th division, is that one guy did the same thing 4 times and no one adjusted for it at all. Like the commentator, I guess Jody Jones just gets to put in crosses freely.
That's just what he does. The other thing about this, so fantastic, is that obviously, the guy's name is Harry Wood. He did the worm. That's fine. Whatever. But he penetrated so well. I mean, he was rock solid. Despite the goal, was rock solid the entire performance.
It curved to the left and hit the right spot.
Well, I may not fit, but I'm not surprised that we finished and Graham is still going.
But here's the thing. The game ends 5-5. And honestly, I don't even want to talk about the rest of League Two, but we're going to just a little bit. Aki lost at home to your massive nemesis, Gillingham, 2-1. Aki,
you know what Aki needs to do is hire Harry Wood and fucking take Gillingham out here. Is what they need to do.
Exactly.
They need to fucking go down to Gillingham and hit that G spot. Is what I'm saying. And Harry Wood seems like the man to do it.
Well, no, I mean, is it down in Gillingham? Is it a G spot or is it a J spot? Because they clearly are confused with how that all works. Because if it was the G spot, they'd be named the Gills, not the Jills.
No, they are the Gills. That's the difference, because they're the Gills, except their name is pronounced Gillingham.
The other way around. Sorry, my apologies.
Mm-hmm.
Sutton
Just
Drew
absolute cunts. They're just cunts. I
Yeah, we
hate them.
just
And
don't
the
like 'em.
fact that they beat Aki makes me mad.
gives you more fuel for the fire. The imaginary team, that was their rival, and now they beat Aki, so you hate him even more.
Absolutely. 100%.
Sutton drew Borrow 2-2. And this is interesting because this helps Wrexham, who won 2-0 over Wimbledon and are now 2 points off the top with one game in hand.
Well, Harry Wood has a game in hand. But also, if he went down to Sutton, he could probably get his Harry Wood into a pie.
I would
They're
say
known to do down
I
there.
would say the way he wiggles his worm and curves it into the corner, he probably doesn't have in his hand very often. I'm sure he finds himself plenty of dates.
Gentlemen, this is not injury time. This is DU does the EFL.
I am talking about how he shoots the ball. You are doing your own innuendo into that, young lady.
All I'm saying is we did this with Wang on the main show and you didn't care. Now we're doing it with Harry Wood and you have a problem. Listen, Mel, I'll shave it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
All right. And then finally, one thing to note is in the midweek.
Hold on, Sam, I didn't finish. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Mel.
shocker.
David Luiz's girlfriend, Ashley Lehman,
Mm-hmm.
they're back together.
Mm-hmm.
That also comes at a time when I got sent an advert from England. I don't know if you know this yet. She is the new spokesmodel for Manscaped.
Oh, I do know that. I've seen her playing with the balls.
Absolutely fantastic.
Uh-huh.
And why the shave joke made a mensch here. That's the whole. See how it all ties together in a perfect Harry Wood circle.
Oh, maybe Harry Wood needs to be hairless Wood.
A perfect hairless Wood circle. You see how that goes? It's fantastic.
Yeah,
The
no.
second best asset Villa is asking me to shave my nuts. I'm in. Little does she know, I've been doing it for years.
And finally, there are going to be some replays of the FA Cup this midweek. And then also the FA Cup during the end of the month plays in the next weekend as well. So that'll be the fourth round of the FA Cup. Mr. Graham, that is going to wrap it up. Do you have any parting words?
I do not. Just put in code Best Bum at Villa on your checkout at Manscaped and see it return you no discount. But it'll be fun doing so.
For listeners of the DU show that are primarily Premier League fans, I would say, you know what? Every once in a while, scroll through the games in the lower leagues, see a score, go find the highlights, because those highlights were fucking fantastic, man.
Yeah, and pro tip, don't do the ESPN highlights. They're usually garbage. Get right on YouTube. Just type in the two
Just
teams.
go to YouTube.
And it'll give you the extended highlight package.
Yep.
Because the
Absolutely.
ESPN highlights for the lower leagues are about 2.5 minutes.
All right, boys and girls, this ends the live stream. Next up is going to be injury time. We're going to listen to us talk about the 5 other games that are being played, and we're going to talk about the beers that we are drinking. Mr. Graham, how do you find injury time?
Absolutely. It is patreon.com/Team Football Show. Just sign up to that one huge, beautiful $5 tier, and you get everything that we do outside of that. There is no other tier. So if you don't sign up to that one, you ain't getting it. So just do that, and you'll get all of our extra content and a nice, spicy, very homoerotic video to come from Sam and I at some point soon.
Yep. It's going to be on a very special holiday. A very, very hairy special holiday. Till next week, everybody.
Good night.